วัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Be My Guest and you're with me สดชื่นลิมเกรียงไก่ In today's episode we are at the แม่ฟ้าหลวง Foundation under the royal patronage. Today we will be looking at the roles and the projects that our special guest will tell us today. So let's not waste any more time and hear more about it.In today's episode, we are joined by Mom Luang Ditpanatda Disakun, Deputy CEO of the แม่ฟ้าหลวง Foundation under the royal patronage. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
Thank you for joining us today. First of all, can you tell us a little bit more about the role of the foundation?
Well, we are a foundation established by Her Royal Highness the Princess Mother. We have been in operation now for about 42 years.The mission of the foundation is to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor through providing people with better livelihood opportunities. We do a lot of sustainable development work inside and outside of Thailand. I think one of the more well-known projects of the foundation would be the Doi Tung Development Project, which is in Chiang Rai province.There, Doi Tung was established in 1988. Its goal and mission is to improve the quality of life of the Hill Tribe villagers living in the area. There are about, back then was 15,000 people from 29 villages of 6 different ethnic minority groups.
I see.
And well, basically when we started the Doi Tung Development Project,Doi Tung was a barren land. There was a lot of opium cultivation in the area. People were living in poverty and without a lot of opportunities. Our first initiative was to turn them from opium farmer, shifting agriculture into wage earner. So we paid them to reforest the area.
I see.While
they were reforesting the area, we realized that without sustainable and meaningful jobs, people won't protect the forest. So we started a lot of the income-generating activities that are suitable to the life skill of the people in the area. For example, the Akala who are good with embroidery, with weaving. So we started our cottage factory, which is now.turned and became the Doi Tung Handicraft Factory.
I see.
We also started medium-term and long-term cash crops. We have coffee, we have macadamia, which is again now sold in our stores and in different outlets throughout Thailand.
I see.
Now I think Doi Tung is at the stage where we have become more mature. We have more knowledge that we think are applicable in other areas. So since 2002 onward, we have been sharing these knowledges with people in different parts of Thailand, in different countries, inside Asia and in Central Asia.I
see. So you started out, the foundation started out in the upper part of the country and then spread out to the other parts of the country. So what is the role of the foundation in other parts of the country? What type of projects have you implemented?
Well, the programs that we run in other part of Thailand are mostly rural development programs.
I see.
We have been asked to go into difficult areas where primarily people are left without livelihood options or opportunity. There are a lot of issue of poverty, indebtedness, and we started the program to help improve the quality of life of the people. Our programs are very much area-based and it depends on the local people really to change and transform their lives. Our role are more or less like facilitator of change. We provide startup capital, we bring in knowledge and know-how, equipments, along with market analysis, product development, and we help link them to the marketplace. And the whole the whole process of creating opportunity and improving the livelihoods. We also tie in factor of empowering the communities, training the trainers, and get people to work together in group and structure local businesses.
I see. So as we know that up north, especially the Doi Luang project, is very successful and well known, do you think other parts of the country with the projects you implemented are considered as successful as the Doi Luang project?
Well, in our work, we segmented our progress of development into 3 different parts.
Okay.
First is addressing the issue of survival. The second one is sufficient, and the third one is sustainability.
Okay.
I would say that our program are very successful at addressing the earlier stage. However, we are not at the sustainability stage for the most part yet, because it takes a longer time to mature. And our programs in other parts of Thailand have not been in operation for that long. But if you look at all the different details, all the different ratios that we've collected, the level of indebtedness has gone down, level of income has grown, asset has grown. Ability for people to work together have been more. There are more groups of people working together. So in that aspect, if you look at that, I think we are quite successful at addressing the issue.
I see. So what about other projects that you're currently working on at the moment? Is there anything new or something you're looking forward to tell us about?
I think the one that, well, let's talk about the most recent one.
Okay.
In Thailand, we ran a reforestation program covering the area of 250,000 rai in Nan province, upper north of Nan province. And that program, I think, is one of the most successful programs that we have implemented in that scale. Simply because we are able to not only stop shifting cultivation and burning of forest land, but we're also able to revive the forest along with improve quality of life to people. And based on our figures that we have collected over the past 6 years, it really shows that the communities are better off, much better off. So this is the program that we are quite proud of, and we're now considering doing phase 2 of the reforestation program also in Nan province, but in different areas.
I see. So can you tell us a little bit more what actually happened there at that project?
Well, when you look at Nan, I think it is one of the areas where there are more forest land than they do farmland. And there are a lot of people who have migrated and been living in the mountainous area for a very, very long period of time, some even before the law and the regulation. And these people, a lot of, they don't have a whole lot of option in terms of income, so they either farm or they have to move away into cities and become laborer. And for those who decided to farm, because it is not legitimate, I think they have to live mostly like an outlaw, doing short-term short-term cash crop, because it has less risk, not a whole lot of investment. And because of this, and also I would say exploitation of the private sector, these people are a lot of time at the receiving end of our accusations. When we started working there, we realized that unless we address the issue of their quality of life, of their income, they will not be able to sustain, or they will not be able to reforest the land. We have taken the knowledge that we have done in Doi Luang and other areas and planned in a very large scale on how to work with the communities. It's been quite a bit of a challenge, because there have been so many initiatives trying to change the condition in Nan. And when we came in as the latter organization, I think there's a lot of mistrust, so we have to overcome that issue. But one thing that we are happy with is the readiness of the community. When trust has been established, communities are willing to transform their lives. And we have seen so many people now become leaders of their communities. We have seen husband and wives reunited because there are work opportunities in near their homes. Family are now together, so the overall picture have been better.
Okay, so now let's just take a short break, and when we come back we'll talk more about it. Welcome back to the program. We are still here with Mom Luang Ditpanatta Disakul, Deputy CEO of the Mae Pha Luang Foundation under the royal patronage. So welcome back to our second break. So earlier you mentioned that you also had projects abroad as well. So can you tell us in which countries that you implemented, some of your projects there?
We've implemented projects in 3 countries.
Okay.
Started off in 2002 in Myanmar when we've been asked by ONCB, Office of Narcotic Control Board of Thailand, to help provide development assistance to an ethnic minority group in Myanmar side along the Thai-Myanmar border, because back then the policy of the Burmese government was to move some of the people from the highland to a lower land area in order to dissuade them from growing opium.
I see.
But we were afraid that the Thai government were afraid that if they came down here to near the border area in the lower land without any kind of livelihood options, they will pick up opium cultivation, and it would be closer to the Thai border and it would bring problems to our country. So we started livelihood rural development programs in Myanmar. And I think that was around the time when I started working with the foundation. And I remember that the condition was very, very similar to Doi Tung when we started off. Back then must have been like 20 years prior. So they're just, 20 years after, they're still living in the same condition. And there was a lot of issue of sicknesses, very limited access to simple medication. If you have malaria, then you will die if you don't have the cure.
Okay.
So that it was that bad, and the price between living and dying was like 130 baht, which when we started off, we started off with our malaria program to train local people to cure their own people of malaria. We also provide a lot of camp doctor visits from the Thai border to again address the issue of health. Afterwards, we have established a certain level of trust, and that's when we started working with irrigation systems. We also tried some basic agriculture. We provide them with livestock. The goal was to make sure that they have enough food security. And it was a 6-year program. When the program ended, we were able to address the issue of food security. We have also established schools, healthcare, small hospital, and the produce that the local people produced in the area was sent outside, so there's actually more income in the area. After that, I think based on the success of Doi Tung and our extended program in Myanmar, we've been asked by the Belgian government to start working in Afghanistan, where back then I think it was in 2007, 2008, and Afghanistan back then was the #1 opium producer in the world.
I see.
So we started working with some of the opium farmers and also some of the people in the communities. We do not target specifically at those people who are doing illicit crops, because we believe that it should be area-based and opportunity should be for everyone in the community in those areas. And the program was quite fascinating because we have to work with livestock, sheep mainly, and we have not have any experience of raising sheep in the desert area before. So it's all about understanding their way of life and bring over the better management system. We realized that in the area, sheep mortality rate were very, very high. They were about 30%. So that, I guess, impacted a lot on their livelihood. So we bring in better management system on how to cure sheep from illnesses.
I see.
And we were able to drop the mortality rate down from 30% down to 3. People have
That's
more
a lot,
assets,
yeah.
and they're able to make better living. I remember, going there back then. They took us into their homes, and we were very, very happy because it was, I think for us, it was the first time working outside of the country and also cross culture.
I see.
And
was there any challenges though? Because the culture would be so different. It's not like in Myanmar where the culture is very similar to the Thai people. So it's quite easy to understand what they're thinking, their lifestyle. But in the Middle East, it's something very different, especially in a war-torn country. So did you find any challenges there that you...
Yeah. At first, I think understanding their culture was one of the things that we have to grasp quickly, and there are certain degree of respect that we have to give to one another, but it's not so difficult in working besides the language and the culture. Love the food, by the way. The food there is great. I got probably one of the best rack of lamb in my entire life, served at one of the home of a warlord.
I see. That sounds interesting.
with a server carrying an AK-47. So that was pretty interesting. It was, I think, in those countries, words are law.
Yeah.
And when someone has given someone their word, they held on to it, and it's same with us. So when we made a promise, we have to live up to our promise. Same with them, but the negotiations are very tough. I remember that on the very last day of concluding the conditions in our program, in the morning they still negotiated with us, and they said that we have to negotiate, and afterwards, whatever. After the negotiation process is over, whatever the conditions, we will honor it, and they have honored it for the remaining 6 years of our program. And I think that's one of the areas where I learn a lot, and I appreciate a lot about their tradition, culture, and more so their people, the people. I really respect that. And I think in that country, I realize the meaning of happiness, or the meaning of appreciation, with interacting with shepherd and the local people.
Right. Was that you enjoyed that? Can I say that you enjoyed the simplicity of the people? It was just words and trust. It's nothing more complicated than that.
Well, I think appreciation is something that is given, and it's in the eyes, and it's in the handshake, and it's in the body motions. And these are things that I think money cannot buy, and it's very, very sincere. So those moments I realize things that are the effect and the impact that we have created for the people.
I see. Well, I have to stop quickly here, but in our next break you can tell me more about the third country.
All right.
Welcome back to the program. So in our third break, I will ask you to tell us a little bit more about the third country that you implemented your project on. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, the third country is in Indonesia.
Okay.
We've been asked by the Drug Enforcement Agency of Indonesia to help in Aceh province just after the tsunami, and there was a lot of issue with cannabis cultivation. So we've been asked to take the knowledge from Doi Tung and help the local people there. We went there for about 6 years as well. Implemented integrated development that include not only the livestock element, but we did take a lot of the livestock element that we learned from work in Afghanistan and improve them in Indonesia. We did not have to work with sheep, but with goat this time. And we also do a lot of irrigation, providing more water to the farmlands. We have short-term cash crop, long-term cash crops, and we work with the people in the community. And again, it was completely different in terms of experiences.
Yes.
In Afghanistan, it's dry, so people are not without a whole lot of opportunity. So when provided with opportunity, they work very hard to improve their quality of life. In Indonesia, where you can pick fruits from the tree, it's more challenging, and we have to identify motives of the people in the community, and we have to go through the different, completely different approach in terms of trying to talk to the communities, because there are different key players
I see.
in the area. So not only that we have to talk to the village leader, we also have to talk to informal leaders, spiritual, and I would say the local warlords in the area, because again, we are working with the freedom fighters.
And would you say that it was a successful, approach program?
Well, it took us a while to really find our feet. I think the program are again quite successful. I would say that it wasn't as successful as the program in Afghanistan because of the different factors, as I've mentioned before.
Yes.
But when we did a post-project evaluation a year after, things are still running. Our malaria program that we have learned, we have implemented in Myanmar, has become a provincial program, and later on become part of the national programs in terms of training midwives in addressing, detecting different strands of malaria and providing medicine to the people. Our doctor that we have trained has become quite a key figure in trying to make the movement within the province, and has taken several trips to the capital to give talk to senior government officials.
I see. So in each country, the time span was around 6 years, you've mentioned earlier. So who takes care of these projects after, times is already like 6 years? So what happens next? Who follows up these projects?
Well, the reason why our programs are 6-year spans, because it takes approximately about 6 years to build capacity of the local people. From day one, we made it very, very clear that we're not here forever. From day one, we told the people that you will be the ones who have to transform your condition, your living condition. And we asked them to identify key people, people who are willing to work hard, people with leadership qualities, and then we trained them over the years. They became our staff, they became our workers, and because we work a lot with the communities, all the knowledge that we have passed on to them on how to manage the water resources, how to make different types of weirs, how to run different types of agricultural programs. We also set up different types of revolving funds, seed funds, livestock funds, medicine funds, that after 2 or 3 years being operated by the local communities. So when we started to pull out in year 5 and eventually in year 6, the local communities are equipped with capabilities to carry on, in fact. So that's the reason why we are able to pull out in 6 years.
I see. And do you follow up on the results,
yes,
like after you pull out?
Yes, we always have to have a post-project evaluation, which can take, usually takes 1 year after. We would go in again to assess. And some projects we do 2 years in a row of post-project evaluation, just to make sure that the livelihood of people is the community are able to sustain the programs that we have created. Because after all, the reason why we are implementing the programs is because we want to help improve the quality of lives of the people. If they can't sustain it, then we need to continue to go back and support. Right?
Okay, so when you went back, was everything still up and running?
Of course, everything's still up and running. There may be a drop in the efforts here and there, or we may need to go in and do a further training or provide a little bit of a financial support. But the overall picture in all programs that we have implemented, there has not been a program where the condition were worse off than when we started.
I see. So currently, is there any project you're working with any other country at present?
Well, I think there are two things that we're working. Every year we traveled with Thai government to United Nations in Vienna, and we try to promote sustainable development agenda at the United Nations level. In 2013, I believe, the Thai approach has been endorsed and been recognized as part of the United Nations guiding principles to address the issue of illicit crop cultivation. Since I think last year, we have been working with the German government on their global program, where again we will host and train government officials, civil servants from different countries on how to do sustainable development work. So far, we have trained the people in Colombia on how to start the programs in reforestation, also in livelihood development. And I think in 2 months' time, we will have a trip to Colombia together with the German government to follow up on what they have been doing since the training.
I see. So is it the same as what you have implemented in the other 3 countries you mentioned earlier, like going in and then spending time teaching the locals? Is it the same thing that you're planning to do in Colombia?
We plan for them to do the same thing, but one thing is scalability. If you want to rapidly increase the condition of the people in different parts of the world, then you need to be able to train others to do the work. And in the last 3 years, the foundation has been spending a lot of time on extracting our knowledge, analyze them and archive them in a way that can be simply transferred to selected groups of people. And we have been hosting different government agencies, private sectors inside Thailand, outside Thailand, and train them on how to do simple development programs or rural development programs in order for them to go back and change the condition. So I think we have a little bit of both. In programs where we want to implement, we will have the element to do so, and for broader groups of people, we can start off with training.
I see. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for sharing the information with us today. Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณครับ
With the foundation playing a big role in supporting the society, especially in the northern region of the country, where many people are still living in poverty. The foundation provides the people in the project area with education, proper infrastructure, and legitimate ways to earn their living, while fostering coexistence between man and nature. And that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. See you again next time. สวัสดีค่ะ